Okay, recording. So I had this brainwave, right, about AI and obviously the effects it's gonna have on human beings and our work and um the roles that we perform within our day-to-day lives, whether it be from a job or just in our, relationship, um, from relationship aspects. But what I started to think to myself was how AI is going to impact human beings, right? Because although we label our, race, a species, right, as human beings, I think for how long, right, the development of civilizations, we've essentially been human doings, right? Now, if we rope in stats and so forth, right, stats and figures and all that stuff, they'll naturally say, okay, the majority of the world, um, when you're looking like in history, it would basically reveal that these constructs were built by usually males, right? Built this, built that, whatever the case may be. Uh, they were definitely some involvement by women as well in this, but majority of it being built by males. So if we then now use that stat to then apply exactly the concept I'm bringing in, which is AI is going to give, I guess it's not going to give birth because humans were born already, but it's going to be the rebirth of humans having to just be. What is that? Sorry. So sorry, guys. Quick digression. Is that Bert? Sorry, I'm seeing a. Don't worry. Sorry, I'm seeing a reflection of something. Is this like a wing? Okay, sorry. That's I'm so sorry. This is so random. What was I saying? Humans. No, AI not giving birth to humans, to human beings, but rebirthing of humans having to be. Because if we really apply what we actually do as actions, humans have been doing. So we're actually human doings for a very, very long time. And when we look at it from when we look at it from, I guess, intersex dynamic, right? It was very important that a man is a doer because that's the only way he's going to be, not the only way, but in the long run, definitely in the long run, this is mostly how he'll be able to acquire a family, because in order for you to be able to acquire a family, you need to show that you are capable in acquiring resources, right? So before any family is acquired, resources must be acquired so you can, let, at least, for example, when a father would give away his daughter, he would want to make sure he's giving away his daughter to somebody that not just cared, but somebody that can take care of her, right? So men had to do. It is imperative that you were able to do and attain resources. So just throughout, I would say we have been species of human doing in that instance, right? But now my first video in this, I guess, I don't know what to call this series, man. Let's just call it the digression series. I don't know, man. I was talking about how why I left corporate basically, right? And I was saying how I knew AI was slowly. I can see the vision of AI slowly kind of taking over some of the iterative work that I was doing, automations and so forth. AI is going to be a master at it, right? So what's very clear is, from an intellectual standpoint, AI is already having to turn human doings into human beings, because even before AI had crept into our daily lives, content creation was becoming a big thing. And content creation, a lot of although there's a big part of it is humans doing stuff, whatever it may be. A lot of it, you'll see people just talking, people just showing them. They're just um, presenting themselves to the camera, speaking about stuff, maybe reacting to stuff, giving their own opinions. This is them being. Yes, technically there's a form of doing there because they're putting on a camera, they're, essentially putting on a performance, quote unquote performance. Well, you know what I mean by them saying, you know what I mean by me saying that they actually, this is them doing the human being part, right? Because they're not doing anything but letting you know what they think, right? And that's them just being as a human. And that privilege has only ever been given to, I will say, those of the opposite gender. And as I said, for the reasons which I mentioned earlier, fathers giving their daughters over. Now that's changed basically, but still, even though that tradition has changed, the idea of it, right? A father will still want to ensure that his daughter makes the right decision in being with a guy that can provide everything she needs from top to bottom, from whether it be emotional, whether it be financial, whether it be physical, all of that stuff, right? So it's still a requirement. And yeah, with the introduction of AI, which I was touching on, I believe AI is gonna force humans to definitely um, become human beings from that intellectual standpoint, and that's already happening, right? And it's gonna force more and more people that are within job spaces, specifically corporate offices type areas, to have to pivot and see where they can provide value. And the only way to one of the only ways to do that, which is going to be similar into what they already do, in their field of work, is stuff like going online and speaking and so forth, because they already hold, people have like Zoom interviews. Like when I was in corporate, I have ridiculous amount of Zoom interviews. We're having interviews about planning about another interview. That's a lot of stuff in corporate also happens. Basically, you're interviewing about planning to have another interview. Your interviews, guys. Sorry, your meeting. Sorry, you're having meetings, planning on having other meetings, right? So you're just in this meeting talking about how you need to set up another meeting, basically. And it was just meetings upon meetings upon meetings, and there's a lot of talking. And I'm someone that I'm a doer. This is why I was in the digital space, like web development space, because I could really get my hands dirty. I'm just a doer. So meetings was annoying, but meetings was needed because um, sometimes I would just go and build stuff, but you need to be careful what you build, because what you're building, you might build something incorrectly that you got to restart again because everybody didn't really understand what was needed. You know, that's why if I look back now at where I was, they brought in product owners, yeah, and a product manager as well, because these people were the ones focusing on the product and making sure everybody involved knew their role, knew what they wanted to do. They were putting in place, what they used to call them. I forgot what they call them. Backlogs, right? Backlogs are like where, everybody, you create like, it's like, it could be, it's usually like a digital, you call it a calendar, whatever, right? But digital task lists, right? And showing what everyone is going to do and what needs to be done, and, what processes need to be in place in order for it to get done. But this is me digressing completely. So I believe AI is essentially going to be pushing people towards, especially people in corporate, going to have to now find something they're familiar with, which is content. Content, them since sitting in front of a screen, speaking to people in that sense, they were talking to their colleagues in Zoom meetings, whatever. Whereas the other half of people that probably going to want to be, kind of continue the human doing part, are probably going to have to go into stuff like trade, you know, until we have AI and robots merge, which is what people like, the Elon Musks are trying to achieve, which will essentially, you could just call them humanoids if we just round it up, basically just say humanoids, right? These these beings, right, are gonna more likely become experts in the trade field and then start doing the work of traders, which of trade people, which will then essentially push the trade people into the whole area of human beings. Like, you need to now start building yourself up when it comes to your personality, when it comes to your sociability, ensuring that you are well socially calibrated. Okay, man. Sorry, guys. Well socially calibrated, right? Being able to speak to people, working your personality a lot more. This is what I believe AI is going to force us to be, is really become what we were, I guess, made for. If you're from, I don't want to focus on one specific religion, but I'll just do it because of it's most likely the most popular, to be honest, right? The Christianity, you look at, when Adam and Eve were, put on this earth, basically, they were just being. They were literally just being. There was no job really for them, or just being, and some will call it obviously allegory, whatever the case may be. I'm just using it as an example, as the those from a specific cohort, their idea of how the human race came to be came from those, came from that story, right? Allegory or not, it came from them being put on this earth and then just ruling it, basically. We may have to, not we may have to, AI is going to force us down that route of human beings. So I just wanted to get people's thoughts on that, basically, because this is just another brain dump of where things are going. Do you believe AI is going to force humans to really go back to the essence of human beings? Or do you think there's going to be even more opportunity now? They're going to create more different roles for human doings? Because that's another subject I've not talked about, which is going to happen, right? There already roles of like AI prompts, people that are able to prompt AI and so forth. Those roles are going to be open up, expanding. We're looking into like cybersecurity, all these things. AI is eventually going to go into doing the job in cybersecurity. But I just said it again, AI is going to be doing the job. It will be human beings to be overseeing what AI is doing. So human beings will still be doing something, but it wouldn't be to the level of the dirty work, right? Getting your hands dirty. So even those that are doing that may still need maybe another source of income, if that's not paying enough, because they're just overseeing it. But if you're like an overseer / manager, you're going to be getting paid, enough, but there won't be enough of them jobs to go around. So we need other jobs. So if those other jobs aren't around, it's going to force humans into areas like content creation and doing stuff like this, because let's be honest with ourselves, that's one thing AI cannot do. It cannot be human. So what I'm doing right now, it can't do it, right? I mean, it can do it because they're creating AI videos, but what it can't do is actually be human, meaning I can now set up something, I don't know, a meeting, have people meet me and they see me in person as I'm talking, whatever, not on a screen. They see me shake my hand. AI cannot do that. And this is where I'm saying AI is going to force us to become more interesting human beings, working on ourselves, building rapport with people. Like I said, becoming a lot more socially calibrated. All these type of things is going to have to come into play. And that's just my thoughts, man. So I'm just interested to know what people think about that, because yeah, I'm going to keep brain dumping because I've got nothing else to do. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all that malark, and catch you on the next one.